Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Mitch Simkins, and this is Wins for Widows, where you get practical guidance from the mouth of professionals, all of us being united in helping you get your feet back on the ground after experiencing the loss of a loved one. Together, we'll uncover the rooted question that you might be asking yourself: what now and what do I do next? I'm excited today to introduce you to and host Ryan Carver. Ryan is the founder and the CEO of Leverage Fitness Solutions. So this is a little different take on what our podcasts have been, and I think you're going to gather a whole bunch of great insights. But his fitness solutions leverage firm is a boutique personal training studio in Utah, and he specializes in adults 50 and over who want to perform and age better. He holds a degree in exercise science from the University of Utah, is certified through the National Strength and Conditioning Association, the NSCA, and he has numerous advanced designations to help solve clients' unique challenges. I know that because we talked a second before we started, and it is unique. I can verify that. Ryan was a finalist for the International Personal Trainer of the Year in 2020 and National Fitness Professional of the Year in 2023, the creator of the Longevity Blueprint Method and the author of the Longevity Lifestyle, which I have read a fair amount of. Ryan, well written, well done. I don't know how you have time to do anything else with your kids or your family, but you're busy.
Better to be busy than bored, Mitch.
And when you see Ryan's arms, you'll know that he's a personal trainer. I'm going to push mine up like this. Is that all right, Ryan, if I kind
Go
of
for it. Go for it.
do that so that I can get even in the same hemisphere? Ryan, what did I miss? What else do we need that they need to know about you or your background or your work that you do?
Father of four. That's my biggest calling, and that's why I do what I do, is to be able to help take care of my kids, and help give them a better life than otherwise. And I guess just the thing to help set things off is, while I look young, I have a lot of miles on my body. And what kind of started me on this whole journey is when I was in high school, it wasn't anything I was doing. I was actually mopping the kitchen floor for a Friday night chore, and my back went out.
Mm.
And that was the starting of the beginning of this journey of helping live younger. Turns out I have a congenital back, a deformity that I
Oh,
didn't know
wow.
I had, and it's non-operable, but I've learned it comes with its challenges. But because of that, I've learned how to manage, how to live.
Mm.
And like I said, most of our clients, one of the most common elements in older adults is low back pain. And from someone who's suffered from that for over 30 years, like I live and breathe that world. I understand that. So even though I'm not 60, 70, 80 years old, like most of the people we deal with, I I live in those shoes with
Yeah.
the body that I
Yeah.
have. So I come to it from a personal understanding, but also a professional understanding as well.
Well, and it's so unique, right? I mean, you're focused on that, the aging population. And the cool part, when Ryan and I connected, just so that all of you listening can know, like, we resonated really well in terms of our goals, our missions, and why we're passionate about what we do, because we both work, typically with older aging adults, and we find passion, vision, meaning in providing some amazing information, Ryan, to you from the physical perspective, to me from the financial, and helping your finances live the life that you want. But let's face it, if you don't have your health when you're in retirement, you have nothing. And if you're going to want to do all the fun things, like, you ain't going to do it sitting on a couch with a bad back or with, chronic conditions that are really affecting you. And I know that from having just talked to someone who is experiencing that, and they're excited about retirement, but man, they don't know how to move, and they want to travel and they want to do some stuff. And Ryan, that's what you do, right? That's your space. That's your jam.
That's
So
100% my mission. I want to help people. I mean, my bigger mission is I would love to be able to put nursing and assisted living homes out of business. I understand they operate and they provide a valuable service, but so without being mean, I do want to change people's trajectory. I want to change their health span, because I can't do anything about their lifespan. But if I can change their health span, then that's a life well lived for me.
yeah, I love it. So Ryan, tell us, what's the difference for people and they're older, over 50, when they're healthy and they're able to be physically independent? What does it mean? How is their life different than if it's not?
So how's their life different if they're actually like
Healthy and going,
healthy
moving.
and living? Well,
What does it mean?
it's different for everybody. And I think that's the important thing. A lot of people believe, to be fit, I need big muscular arms. Well, if that's your goal, great. If it's not your
Mm,
goal, that doesn't matter. Like I remember we were talking, I had a client, Wally. He came to do training as a last ditch effort before checking himself into a retirement home. Fast forward, that's how he started. That was his impetus. I'm going to try this before I just kind of give up on life. Fast forward several years, I saw him at the gym and he looked kind of down. I'm like, "Hey, Wally, what's going on? You look kind of sad." He's like, "Yeah, I've only had like 50 ski days this year." And I'm like, "Wally, that's awesome. Like that's 50 days." Like, "Well, I really wanted to get up more, but like knees were a little achy and stuff." I'm like, "Well, look at where you came from. 5 years ago, that wasn't even on your radar of being able to ski.
mm,
And you
mm,
have 50 days. That's amazing." So for Wally, that's what being fit meant, was being able to take advantage of the things that he wanted to do.
mm, mm.
There are others. One of my favorite stories that really lights me up and really kind of started me on this was a client, Janine. She came to us in a wheelchair, and it wasn't because she wasn't paraplegic. She didn't have any nerve issues. She just had lost strength that she needed to be in a wheelchair. We worked with her to be able to move from a wheelchair to using a walker, from a walker to be able to use a cane, to be able to go from a cane to take the stairs up to our facility. And finally, before she passed, she was able to pull around a 75-pound weight sled, walking around.
Great.
For
That's awesome.
her, fitness meant, I want to be able to be more independent.
Interesting. Interesting.
So
Interesting.
that's what I love.
That's
Everyone's story is a little different. Some people like, I want to live with less pain. Some people like, I want to be able to go on this trip with my family, and be able to participate instead of sitting on the sidelines while the family does the fun things and I'm just kind of there and it joined by osmosis kind of thing, just by living it but not being an active part.
yeah.
Everyone's why is different.
Yeah.
And what I
Yeah.
love is being able to unlock that for anybody. Whatever the reason why is, we can help with that.
That's great. Meeting them where they are.
Yeah,
Meeting
and
them
taking them
where
where they wanna go.
and perhaps that message is to those who are listening, like, what is that goal? Do you wanna be physically active? Do you wanna be out playing sports? Or are you just wanting to get to the point where you travel? Or what does that really mean for your lifestyle? And frankly, at the end of the day, what does it mean for your joy and satisfaction, especially as you approach or are in retirement and you've worked so hard for so many years to get there, right? And that physical that are stopping you. I think what you're saying, Ryan, is there's hope for all of us.
There is hope. There's definite hope. You hit the nail on the head that everyone's why is gonna be different, but you need to have a clear picture of what you want, because if you don't have a clear picture of what you want, what you will get will be dictated by someone or something else.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. No, I like that. That's great. And I know sometimes too it's mental, right? For me it is, right? Sometimes half the challenge is up here and not down there.
That's where most issues, we actually talk about this in the book, is the mental aspect is what limits people first and foremost. Some of the most damning things that people can say is, I'm too old for fill in the blank, for X. I tell a story, and it's a favorite story. Years ago, I was home. I was tired. I just wanted to relax on the couch. And I think my son at this point I think he was probably like 4 or 5. And he's like, "Hey, Dad, let's play." I'm like, "Awesome, buddy, let's play." And I was thinking like on our phones together or something. He's like, "Let's do somersaults." And I'm like, "Somersaults?" He's like, "Yeah, let's do somersaults like down the hall, like all the way down the hall."
Mm,
And I was like,
mm,
everyone can relate. Everyone just wants to just like, I just want to sit. I just want to relax. And I caught myself saying, "Son, I'm too old to do that." And it was like literally when those words came out of my mouth,
mm,
it was
mm.
like I was spitting like acid
And
all over my son. And I realized, wait a second, age has nothing to do with this. It's a desire level. It's or it may be an ability level. I may not have the ability to do that. So instead of saying and using the words, I can't, or I'm too old, what we always try and preach is change those words to, it's not a matter of old. Like it's funny, our clients will be like, I'm too old to do this. I'm like, you can't play the age card here. Like there's people that are 10 years older than you. Like you can't use that excuse. But we want to say, we want to replace it with, I can't do that yet, or I don't have the skills yet to do that. So it's a reframing that it's not age. Age has nothing to do with it. It's an ability and a desire. And when you, and a lot of people don't like hearing that, but when you realize that it's either I don't want to or I don't have the ability yet, you have to choose which one do you want to address.
Mm, mm.
So in that
Well,
scenario with my son, I was choosing, I don't want to do that. And by extension, I don't want to spend time with you, how you want to have the time given.
mm,
And so what I was trying to say something that made myself feel better, but ultimately it was desire or skill. And I knew I had the skill. So I had to choose, is it desire or what? So guess what? I got
mm.
super dizzy and we somersaulted all the way down the hall and all the way back. And he was giggling and he thought that was the best thing ever. And guess what? A few moments of discomfort was worth it.
That's so awesome. Well, and we talked a little before. Our kids are spread out, right? And I don't know if you're going to be as old as I am, as my youngest is leaving. But having a younger kid in the home pushing me to stay physically active has actually been really good for the mental ability, right? So let's talk a second about the 50s and 60s. Okay. So what can people be doing during that time to prep and to really help so that as they get older, they're more able to be active?
Great question. The best thing, let me take a step back and explain what's happening in your 50s and 60s, which will help understand why my answer is the way it is. So once we hit our mid 50s, early to mid 50s, you have a disease that kicks in called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is the age-related loss of muscle and strength. And the rate is you'll lose about 1 pound of muscle a year until you hit your mid 60s.
Hmm.
And then it doubles to now be about 2 pounds of muscle a year. That's a lot of muscle when you think about it. That is a lot of muscle, especially if you look at, okay, you're 58. Think back to when you were 55. How much did you weigh? And if you weigh the same amount and you haven't been actively strength training, you've lost 4 pounds of muscle in that time.
Wow.
And that's why when we see people come in, they're like, man, it just seems like yesterday I was able to do X and now today I can't do it. It's because you've been losing muscle at such an alarming rate so
Mm,
fast. So what to do in your 50s and 60s? Strength train. That is if you're looking for one thing, yes, there's lots of things you can and should be doing. But if
mm,
you only do one thing, strength train, strength train,
mm,
strength train. That is the magic bullet. That is your fountain of youth that will set you up for everything else. Yes, you need cardiovascular training. You need all this other stuff, but the foundation is strength. You need strength.
mm, mm.
Sarcopenia is preventable and reversible if you strength train in the right intensities and doses. And that's what we do. Right? We help with that. But in your 50s and 60s, you may not think I'm not frail yet, but sarcopenia is that silent harbinger of frailty.
And I've heard that those 50s and 60s are the most critical time to help you when you're older, right? Is that because it happens so much faster during that period of time, or is it just a
I wouldn't say
foundation
it's
to
the
help you
most
when it's older?
critical. It's just that's where if you're not doing something, the floor just starts falling out from under you.
I see. I see.
And it just starts accelerating and going faster and
Uh,
faster and faster.
yeah.
So that's why people think, oh, it's important, but the earlier you start, the better. So if you've never trained and you're in your 30s, start training now. That would be great. If you're in your 40s, start now. If you're in your 70s, start now. Like start strength training. That's like doctors, we didn't know what we didn't know. But
Mm,
back in the 70s, like all you need is a pair of running shoes and that's how you stay healthy and you just need to walk. Walking's great, but man, if the advice that we were getting from doctors, 30, 40 years ago was strength train, we wouldn't have the pandemic of obesity and sarcopenia and all these frailty issues that we have now.
interesting. Interesting. So if you got an hour and you're in your 50s, how much of that hour is cardio and how much of it is strength?
I would say at least 45 minutes of strength training.
Really? Okay, so that much more strength training than cardio.
Yeah, even
Okay,
50 minutes.
really?
If you were to like I said, if you had 1 hour, or let's say you have 2 hours a week, how much are you strength training? I would probably say an hour 30, hour 40 strength
Interesting.
training.
Wow, that much different.
Yes, you will get
All right.
that much more benefit from that than cardio.
Love it. Love it. So obviously exercise is one of the ways to avoid depression, anxiety, things like that. So how is it so much different for us when we are moving and active in community to really help us through grief? Because many of our listeners are those who are dealing with some very extreme grief and pain and loneliness. Um, so talk about physical health related to our emotional and mental health. How do they go together, and how can we maximize our physical health to help our emotional and mental health?
Well, you mentioned a lot of it. There are a lot of phenomenal research studies that show that exercise is just as effective than most pharmaceutical interventions, drugs for depression, anxiety, and the like. And to answer your question, I think it goes back to the root of what we're wired for. Our brains are literally wired for movement. So whether we're looking at trying to manage depression or whether we're trying to stave off Alzheimer's, movement is at the root of that. Um, we were talking about, we're talking mental health. A lot of it is emotions. Let's break down the etymology of that word. If you split up emotion, you cut two parts, E and motion.
Hmm, hmm.
Every emotion, there is a motion. If you're happy, the movements are an upturned face, maybe elevated eyebrows. That's emotion.
Hmm,
If
hmm.
you are upset, maybe a furrowing of the brow, downturning of the mouth, that is emotion. So when we look at how do we regulate and improve emotion, it is through motion.
Love that. Love that.
So
That is so
that
awesome.
that's a neurological construct
Yeah.
in our brains. So, and when we start exercising, when we start moving, not only is it wiring the nervous system that, hey, movement is how we show expression, but all of a sudden you start moving and you start feeling better. But then you start moving and your brain releases all of these hormones that are these feel good hormones, serotonin, all these things that make us feel good
Hmm,
because we're
hmm,
exercising. It's just
hmm,
this beautiful feedback loop that
hmm.
doesn't have the side effects or the deleterious effects of pharmacology.
Wow. Wow, that's so cool. And is that, I know we talked a lot about strength training. Is strength training as effective as cardiovascular training in terms of helping you have positive emotions and overcome or
Both
reduce
are
anxiety?
phenomenal. Both are
Really?
phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get the same result from weight training as you do cardiovascular?
From a mental standpoint,
Yeah.
it depends. There are certain, you'll have hormones released similar to like when you're running, but it depends on the person. Some people are wired a little differently. Like I have a friend who's an ultra marathoner. So he's the crazy guy's running through the mountains at like 70 miles. Like he's built different. He gets a runner's high and he gets that when he's running at around mile 20.
Yeah.
I don't. My body is built as a sprinter. I'm very fast at very short distances and I can do that a couple times, but like to run ad nauseum, that's not me. So for me, a runner's high, I get a similar runner's high when I'm strength training or when I'm
Interesting.
playing sports, not
Interesting.
when I'm running, just to run.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So the message is find what works for you.
Yeah. That you,
Find
once again,
something.
we talk about the 4 pillars of fitness. You need all four. It's not a buffet, but within those four, there is variability in the modes that you can choose to do.
Hmm,
We'll
hmm.
often get asked like, oh, what people ask me all the time, Ryan, what treadmill should I get? Like, I'm thinking about getting a treadmill. What treadmill should I get? And I'm like, why do you want a treadmill? Oh, well, that's how you get in shape. I'm like, do you like running? No. Do you like walking? No. I'm like, then it doesn't matter which one you're going to buy because it's just you're going to use it to hang your dirty laundry or clean laundry on in 5 weeks anyway. So it doesn't matter. Right.
Yeah. That's why you see so many of those hanging on the back of trucks somewhere heading to the
Yeah.
dump.
And you can get them online for like $5 because
Yeah.
everyone's
Yeah.
getting rid of them because nobody uses them because we think that we have to use them. But it's like, you know what? Like, okay, Mitch, we were talking like, you like pickleball. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
use pickleball as your way to integrate that into your fitness.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm
Yep.
guessing you'd probably you would rather do 2 hours of pickleball than 30 minutes of jogging on a treadmill, right? So many people are like that. So, yes, find the mode that you like, but
Mm,
still need
mm.
all four pillars of fitness.
Four pillars or what? What are they, Ryan?
You need aerobic conditioning. That's what most people call cardio.
Okay.
You need strength training or resistance training. Third, mobility. You need to work on the range of motion about your joints. And fourth, a neuromotor component. This would be things like, are you actively working on your balance, your agility? How quickly can you move? Your proprioception, your cognition? All those things need to be worked. So when you get all four, that's what unlocks the key to optimum health, optimum wealth, and the best body living 10 years younger.
Love it. Love it. So let's talk a second about wealth, Brian, because in your book, one of the things I loved is you bring in the longevity lifestyle book, you bring in that wealth side with the health side, and you see that connection and you realize that those have to go together. I love that.
Yeah.
And to enjoy that nest egg, you got to be healthy. So what practical, realistic habits do you recommend for widows or couples, older couples today to help them feel better and reduce any surprises that might derail that retirement and enjoying of that wealth that they work so hard for?
Well, I think we already alluded to it on, if I understand the question correctly. So one, start exercising, start strength training. That's
Get
something that
out,
you
just
do
go.
now.
Okay. Strength
Um,
training.
but in the realm of that finance is, I'm not a wealth advisor. I don't pretend to be, but let's put it in generic terms. You put money in a K or whatever stocks, you try and put money away because you hope for a return, right? There's a lot of different calculations that people say you should save, you should invest this much, you should save this much. Outside of that,
Mm,
how
mm.
much are you investing in your personal health and fitness? If you
We
think
can either
about
pay it on the upfront, getting us and keeping us healthy, or we'll pay it on the back end,
and
going
the
and
back
seeing a
end's going to be
doctor
a lot more expensive. It's
and less fun.
100% going to be more expensive. You can pay to not have diabetes now or pay for the insulin and then
Mm,
not being
mm,
able to manage that. And then all
mm.
the ER visits and slowly getting parts of your body chopped off and amputated because that's how you're going to save your life. Like I've seen that
Yep,
happen.
yep, yep.
It's real.
So cool. Well, Ryan, I have one guy already for you that I just talked to, and another guy right here that to tap in and get some stuff ready to be pickleballing. So, dude, it's been so nice to talk to you. Thank you for your time and sharing your expertise and knowledge. That sounds great. Thanks, Ryan, and we'll be in touch.